that. Now with first press a key fob, if you put your hand in the door handle, if it's on all doors, it'll unlock all the doors. If you do driver door, it'll unlock just a driver door. So you can always hit unlock twice on the key fob and it'll unlock all doors if you put it on driver door. So I always just point that out because I think it's sort of a safety feature, especially if you're going to be somewhere late at night and you want to make sure somebody's not getting in your passenger side. You can change that to driver door. When you put your hand in the door handle, it unlocks just that door, so you don't have any threat of somebody hopping in the truck with you unintended. Then personal settings linked to key fob. Now, if you are switching between you and your wife's key fob constantly, or say you use just your key, you might not worry about that. But if you are constantly using somebody else's key and they say the profile setting, when you get in with that key fob, it's going to load that profile according to that key that you got in with. So if you don't want it to go change your memory setting based on what key you're getting in, you can disable that. Power lift gate alert just lets you know with a beep that it's coming down. The powered tailgate on this one, now this truck is different. You have the split tailgate. This one has the regular tailgate, so that doesn't apply. Digital keys, now that does require you to use the app in order to register that digital key, which I can help with if you would like to use that and be able to use your phone as a key. But that's for maybe a different conversation because you do have to go through the app. Seats and comfort, so this is where you can also turn on that auto comfort on, and then easy exit seats just moves the seats back. If you hit that button, that will move the seats back every time you turn off the key of your truck. Key off options, another by default, probably like what you want. But if you don't want your radio turning off automatically, you want to extend how long your lights stay on after you turn it off. Suspension, default ride height. I usually recommend being aero because you do get a little bit better fuel economy. But this basically will allow you to turn off the horn if you don't want it beeping or lights flashing when you lower down the air suspension. Audio is just another place to get to your audio settings. And then the rest of this I wouldn't really mess with. I mean, if you are wanting to block explicit language, you can have it read out things to you. I mean, most of these things are probably not common for somebody to change, just give informational stuff. But you can do additional things like add your Alexa to be able to have Alexa features come through the screen. I won't go into detail on that. You have to sign up with your Prime account, and you can use Alexa as another way of talking to AI. Trailer towing is just a quick way to get to those settings you preset for whatever trailer brakes you set for your particular trailer. And we talked about the camera to be able to see that. Now, as far as additional apps and that sort of thing, you can get more apps than what comes on the truck. But ultimately, what kind of comes with it, I think, is plenty. Some of these things are paid, and that's what the little button there at the top will get you to. And beyond the main screen there, you do have your soft buttons here, so you can adjust your gain, which will reflect on the driver information display, how much gain you've got. And then we talked about this briefly, but that's your squeeze tool for your trailer brake to test where your brakes would surge at or to activate your trailer brakes. If you have more questions about that and whenever you hook up a trailer, I'm glad to help, but I think with your trailer, it probably will be fine with just the light electric. And then these will turn off your sensors to not beep at you when you get in close to things. And then you can use the soft buttons here to raise and lower the truck's air suspension. So some stuff will be similar, just kind of different places for things versus the limit that you had. But overall, that is the full shebang as far as the touchscreen. There are other little things that may be useful to know, but I think we talked about it mostly over the phone. But that is the full rundown on that. On the driver information display, just briefly, if you want to be able to display something other than the analog gauges, so you like the traditional style, you hit the right arrow. You can go to a more digital view, which is a little cleaner, but you lose the analog gauges, and you just hit the right arrow to do that. And then you can go through and see your driver assists. This basically, when you turn on your lane sense, it puts the lines around it so you know that that's active. And then if you wanted to use the active drive assist, you do have to be in drive for that to show, but you use the button there, and that basically is the automatic driving feature that we talked about briefly. And then you can just use regular adaptive cruise and not activate the full driving assist. As we scroll down, you can see your vehicle information. You hit the right arrow and it'll take you through the different sort of slides of these different things talking about the truck, you know, what air suspension you're at, and you know, your different things like your fuel economy is also in this screen, so you can see all your gauges sort of at the on the fly here, oil level, and your tire pressure. But as we scroll down, you can see your trip meter, A and B, and you can display your navigation, your built-in nav here. It will just be the built-in nav and not your Apple Maps, but this allows you to be able to have a second place to view your navigation. And then your trailer tow distances and your gain, you can see as you scroll down, you can see the radio presets, and you can actually change between your different presets with the arrows using the screen. And then messages just let you know if you have an oil change due, tire pressure is lower, there's an issue going on. Screen setup, if you go into that with the OK button, you can change how things are being displayed, basically just customizing that screen so that you can easily display the information you'd like as opposed to what came default, like if you want your time to always show, or say your range to empty. Now they do have the range down here in the bottom as well, so some things may not be necessary, but say you want to have your average fuel economy show all the time, you can leave that in the upper right. So all different sorts of ways that you can customize it to your preference, and that's screen setup. And you use the arrows, you can kind of read and follow the directions there, but you know, you use the left arrow to scroll through, and then you hit the right or the up arrow to be able to get out of that. Heads up display, you can customize it. I think we briefly went over this, but you can change how much information is being displayed, customize how it's being displayed. Standard is what probably is enough for most people. Simple just keeps it mostly to your mile per hour, and that just displays that heads up display on your glass. And you know, you can change the display height if you're having trouble seeing it. You know, I would set your seat first and then change this, but you know, that way you can more easily see that, and then you might have to turn the brightness up if it's hard to see. If it's something that distracts you, you can just turn it off altogether by turning off the display. But overall, that is the majority of the screens. Now, I'll quickly hop over to the passenger side screen, but ultimately, that's the majority of the truck as far as screens go. And hopefully this helps, but sorry I wasn't there to be able to go over it with you in person, but hopefully this is of some assistance. Now, yeah, somebody's gone in and okay, it was on dim. So you can see basically the same sorts of things that you would on your radio. You know, they can basically be your DJ, go in here and, you know, change your radio station or what source. If they want to pair up their phone, they can pair their phone. It's going to be the same phone that pairs here though, and so really you can only have one sort of paired at a time. But ultimately, you know, if they want to watch something, they can hook up a USB drive with video on it. It has to be a particular format, and I haven't really delved into what format that needs to be, but I would expect like an MP4 is the video format that they require. HDMI is probably the most common way for people to hook this up. So when you go to HDMI and you have something connected to your source there, you can see it reflected on this screen, and you'll be able to also, for instance, pair up a pair of headphones via Bluetooth, so that they're basically over here, they can watch their movie and have their audio come in separately. so you can still drive and maybe listen to your radio and that sort of thing. If somebody wants to hook up a game system or a Fire Stick, or if you have a HDMI to USB for your iPhone, then you should be able to download like the Netflix app and be able to mirror that onto this screen. Your mileage may vary though. I had trouble with Disney one time trying to do that, mirroring it onto another screen because of digital rights management, but maybe they have updated since I last tried. But ultimately the screen's pretty straightforward. A lot of things are identified like you would expect. And ultimately you can go into your controls here, change the brightness. That's the brightness setting I was telling you about I thought was going on, but it evidently was something else. And you can turn off the screen. If you hit the power off, you just tap the button again and it'll pull it back up. So I don't know if maybe that's what happened. But anyways, the home screen, you swipe and you can see your different options. And navigation, you go in, say they want to stop and get a burger or something, then they can go in here and search and be able to pull up food and make it the next waypoint. So they can do plan, and then once you do plan there, they have to do send to driver, and then it reflects on the screen where the driver has to hit accept. But that way they can set a navigation waypoint. And they say, no, we're not going to Sweet Fork. So anyways, you can adjust different things in there, and they can just kind of see the map too and see what roads maybe are next up if you're paying attention to the road, and you want them to tell you when it's time for a turn as opposed to listening to the nav come through automatically. But anyways, that's kind of the breakdown. There is a book that gives you a brief description on these things, so this is a more limited book than what they've done in the past, but it's really kind of to the point as far as talking about the things that are important. And then in your app there is the digital glove box that will also give you some additional information beyond what the little book will tell you. And then online, if you go to mopar.com or ramtrucks.com, you can download the full book, which is like a 500-page PDF. I didn't talk about this much, but it's very self-explanatory. Hit the settings, and you can change the brightness. Hit it again, and it changes the angle in which it's being displayed. The truck does have some really basic tutorials built in, but I don't think they're all that useful to most people's use of the truck. But it will, if you go to the apps and go there, it has really short clips talking about stuff too. So different ways to be able to learn about the truck. But of course, you can call me anytime you have any questions. Again, appreciate your business, and hopefully this helped a little bit. Sorry for the lengthy nature of this video, but this is why I normally spend, or I ask people, give me about 15-20 minutes for something not as well equipped, and then 30 to 40 minutes when we're talking about something that has all this technology, because we just talked about the screens here. But anyways, appreciate your business again. Thank you so much. And again, that's Bobby, East Carolina Crash Edge Jeep in Greenville. Have a great day.